let's kick it off with the stack.
Kick it! Sorry.
Oh, are you set up to say kick it? Yeah.
Are you taping?
Am I taping, like with tape?
Oh my god. This is ruined.
Rolling.
Thank you. So we're going to do the stack where we each made a pick, something that particularly stood out to us this week. First thing we're going to pick, which is X-Men Schism, number 2. So, Pete, you want to give us the rundown of the series and what you liked about it?
Oh man, I would love to give a lot of information. No, I wouldn't. That's not how I work. What I really liked about
Give the least amount of information possible.
thank you. That's how I work.
This was amazing.
First off, first issue was fantastic. When you have an amazing first issue, you get a little nervous sometimes about the second issue being just as great.
Yes.
I thought it did an amazing job of keeping the momentum. Wolverine drinking at like this dive bar was amazing.
I never get to see that.
Oh man, I never get tired of that.
And he's like, oh, Bob, I need a beer. Where can I let my sticks?
That's what you need for an X-Men comic.
But
That's what you call a log line. I've ever heard.
just doing a great job of developing this kind of new villain and kind of moving some pieces around that doesn't feel like moving pieces. Amazing stuff.
Justin, what did you?
I love it. Moving pieces. It doesn't seem like you're moving pieces. Like a chess game that you come up to like some other time, like later. Very start. I like this. I feel like Pete, you like it so much because the villains are children, and you hate children.
Right, yeah. I hate kids.
For those of you who haven't picked up X-Men Schism yet, by the way, in case you didn't guess from the title, essentially what's going to happen is there's going to be a split among the X-Men, probably between Cyclops.
Don't say that. Why would you say that?
They said Guardian.
No, they didn't. They didn't say
Yes, they
anything
did.
about
They
that.
said,
It's called preview.
yeah, not even that. They're like, read X-Men Schism. Cyclops and Wolverine are going to break up, and there's going to be two different.
No,
teams.
that's not true.
That is definitely
That is
Is
straight
that
up
the
true.
stories of a custody battle over these evil?
It's mostly takes place in the core.
For the record,
X-Men aren't even there.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the lawyer.
basically like Kramer versus Kramer with Pete.
Hey.
I like that.
for the record, I don't hate all children. I just hate children that look like little mini Nazis.
Sure.
Great point.
It's mainly the mustaches.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, as I was saying, the X-Men are headed for something. Nobody knows what. But right now they're fighting Sentinels that have been giant robots that have been activated all over the world. There are villains massing against them, a new Hellfire Club made up of tiny little evil children. And meanwhile, something's going on with Wolverine and Cyclops where they seem to be fighting a little bit.
Oh,
But I'm
no.
sure
Oh, the first issue that
no, but I'm sure that's not leading to anything.
Let Pete be surprised.
Yeah, don't ruin my world, man.
I think it's so funny.
It's called Schism.
Shut up!
He hasn't looked up that word yet. It's very funny that when the Hellfire Club scenes where these kids and they're like, they keep talking about how they're like 10 years old, and they're all these old men who are like, "What shall we do next, guys?" And these children are then like, "We're gonna do all this shit," and they're like, "Yes, go get them," and then they just sort of go back to sleep in the room.
They're parents.
Yeah,
That's what
I mean, that's smart.
the parents left the kids to the grandparents, and they started something called a Hellfire.
That's just smart
I will
building.
say, actually, you're joking about it, but one of the things that I think is particularly cool about the series is it really is pushing this angle of the older generation versus the younger generation. And that's going on every level of the book. The thing that I really like about it is it's very funny, there's good action, but at the same time, there's a ton of cool character things at different layers that are going on. It makes it a very easy event to get into, but at the same time, it's very complex and rewarding for ongoing fans. You
And you love it.
And no, I will not get off of his dick.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Who gets Pixie?
What?
I'm assuming the biggest question is who gets Pixie?
Defines gets.
Yeah.
Define gets, sir.
Jesus Christ. All right, move on.
It's probably going to be one.
Probably Wolverine, yeah. He gets all the little girls. I don't mean that how that sounds.
Yeah, you do.
Amazing Spider-Man number 666. This is kicking off another event, which is Spider Island. We had Dan Slott. This is actually my pick, I should mention. We had Dan Slott on the show talking about this last week.
Get off its dick.
All right. This is a great issue. If you have not read Spider-Man in years and years and years, you can jump right in. You can hand this to any reader of any age.
Any age?
Any age.
probably not 2 days old.
Thank you.
But even then, they would pick it and be like,
Oh.
It is flavor.
it's great, it's exciting, there's funny, there's good references to things, but there's also great character work going on. Same as Schism, I think this is a really, really enjoyable comic book. And this is one of the best Spider-Man comic books that's come out in a long time, and I say that having
You
loved
love
what's been going on in Amazing Spider-Man. So
Really?
way better stuff than Ryan Howard.
Oh, thanks.
There's
I
like
appreciate
hashtag
it.
on the cover, Twitter's hashtags.
That's the first.
It's practically a digital comic.
That's actually the title.
Yes.
Prelude to Spider Island, hashtag Spider Island.
Stefano's such a show-off, right? I mean,
I mean, that's
ridiculous. It's
How
not even
so?
fair. I know. Like, look at this. Just him
Watch
drawing
this.
Jonah Jameson is more interesting and fun than what 90% of all artists
Yeah.
have ever done in their careers. Like, I just want a comic just about Jameson looking at these charts and about his sales going down, or his polls going down. That's enough to me if Stefano draws it.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great artist.
Great spreadsheets.
What did you guys think about this? Crazy as
I don't know. I'm a little nervous about everybody having spider powers. I'm like, I don't know.
If you guys haven't read this, the premise here is that everyone in New York who has bed bugs,
Did I pull a Pete?
yeah, everyone in New York who has bed bugs, they've been supercharged by this village called the Jackal, so that if you get bitten by a bed bug, you get Spider-Man's power.
That's brilliant.
So it's like, it's pretty cool. So it's sort of like, oh shit, I have bed bugs. Okay.
That's a nice little.
I'll take it as a, I'll get some of this stuff. I like this a lot as well. There's so much going on in this issue. The Jackal is such a goofy looking dude. He looks like some sort of
Grinch.
wolf. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
wolf Grinch combo. And he's like, I'm also a scientist. So he's got a lot going on, which is nice.
Does he still have the little clone mini that he used to have back in the day?
I haven't seen
No,
this
he has
one.
a
They were like back in the 90s.
hulking spider, possibly Kane.
It is bad they can reveal this issue.
Yeah, my favorite thing is there's some mysterious character that bursts out of a tube, and they're like, this is a prime specimen. Finally, I got this prime specimen. You don't see who it is. They burst out of the tube and they immediately shout, "How you doing?" So, and it's probably Joey Tribbiani. Yeah, from Friends, I'm guessing. Not even.
Well, now they have spider powers.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Everyone in New York has spider powers, so friends.
There you go. Yeah, well, they were hungry. Let's move on. Tom, that wasn't Joey. Let's move on. Last pick is your pick, which is Criminal, the Last of the Innocents,
Woo!
number 2.
Man, is anyone reading this comic?
Yes.
I haven't read that one.
Oh, well, I got it. It's so like a
Bunch of
film
hands
noir.
run up. Bunch of hands.
Film noir, cool. Film noir, sort of pulpy comic, criminal in general. This art specifically, you don't have to have read anything beforehand to pick this up. It's sort of taking the Archie Comics relationship, the love triangle there, and making it real pulpy, dark. It's if they grow up and Archie went with Veronica and he hates her now. The art is amazing. The writing is it's like one of the best comics I've picked up in a long time. Really smart, really like intense, just really very, very good.
The art is amazing.
Yeah.
Good sight.
This is a great book. I really can't add anything to it other than it's excellent. And this is, of the Criminal series, I think, probably my favorite.
Yeah, definitely the best one. It's a great series to begin with. You could give this to someone and they're like, oh yeah, you don't like comic books? Well, then read this as a favor to me because you should like me. Stone point and then slowly backward.
Just sort of shove the comic on the ground towards them.
Yeah, and just why force people when they're doing something.
Yeah.
So if I were like ice skating, it would be like, put those skates on, let's go.
No, you'd be like, listen, you gotta read 50 other skates before you understand these skates. All right, that's it for the stats.